There are two ways that one can go. When here on this material plane, on this earth, spiritually there are two ways to go. There is the path which is of service to others, and there's the path which is service to self. Service to others means this. You see, the yogi in the mountain who's meditating, even though you don't know who he is and you have no direct contact with that person, him spiritually focusing and turning his attention within himself and realizing his spiritual nature and experiencing that benefits the entirety of the planet, even though you don't even know who that person is. Because you got to realize that we are the earth. We're not separate from the earth. Whatever we do affects the earth. So if many people turn inwards spiritually, it affects the entirety of the planet because we're not separate from each other. You see, the greatest gift you can give to humanity is your own spiritual evolution. That's the greatest gift you can give to humanity. There's nothing greater than that because it benefits everyone even though they're not directly involved. So, with somebody just meditating, even at home, if you're just meditating, turning inwards, and you're realizing more and more about your true nature, that benefits the entirety of the planet. Even if it's by a very small margin, it still benefits the entirety of the planet. So if you have, let's say, billions of people all turning inwards and spiritually transforming, having spiritual transformations, the entirety of the planet benefits from that, even though they're not directly involved with you. They don't have to know your name, they don't have to know who you are. Just people turning inwards spiritually, realizing who they are, that benefits every single person on the planet. So, that is what it means to be of service to others. Your self realization benefits the entirety of the planet. That's what it means to be of service to others. Now, service to self is somebody who is purely focused on whatever benefits them and their ego. So they don't care that what they do harms someone or benefits them as long as it satisfies their ego. It's all the entirety of their self and their selfishness. So the people who rule this world, who rule this matrix, they are service to self. They have to dominate and manipulate other people in order for them to have power because it relies on the infringement upon the will of others, infringing the will upon others, their will upon others. So they have to be able to manipulate and dominate other people in order to get energy from them, and it's all for their own benefit, all for themselves. And every single you see narcissism, Machiavellism, and psychopathy all is all from the service to self entity because that service to self is within us. That's the Luciferian spirits that are within each and every individual on this planet. Because what happened in the Garden of Eden when Adam and Eve descended from Eden and onto earth, the Luciferian spirits entered them. That's why we have good and evil. Now we can choose between good and evil because those spirits are within us. So now there is a adversary. So people who choose to feed the Luciferian spirits within themselves, that's where narcissism, Machiavellianism, and psychopathy generate from. That's where it's from. So those who are service to self are focused purely on themselves and their ego and their self gratification, and they don't care about the consequences of their actions because it's entirely about themselves. Now, the entity who's of service to others, who is on the spiritual path of self realization and moving towards the light, if they're at least 51% service to others, then they will evolve into the next step. However, you can make quantum leaps. If you detach from the world entirely, you can just make a huge quantum leap and reach higher states of existence or even leave physicality itself and reach nirvana. However, very few people do that. A very, very, very few amount of people on this planet are at that state. And the person who is of service to self, they have to be at least 90% service to self in order for them to reach a more powerful negative state, or else they can get caught up in reincarnation cycles that will, where they have done all the evil on their existence, that now that will come back to them, and they have to experience everything evil that they've done and have that happening to them. Or they will have lower ranking positions in the negative dimensions. So they want to be able to reach more powerful negative positions in the negative dimensions. So they have to be at least 90% evil. That's why these elites work very hard to create misery on the planet, because that is their practice. That is their way. That's their way of darkness. And they don't want to get caught up in those reincarnation cycles because they realize the jeopardy of that. So that's just the way of those who walk the dark path. They have to be 90% evil, or else they will get caught up in those reincarnation cycles, and they don't want to get caught up in that. So somebody who is on the service to others, who is on the path to light and wants to realize their true nature, that benefits everybody else, and they have to only be at least 51% service to others in order for them to ascend to the next dimension, which is fourth density, because here on Earth it's third density, and we're moving to fourth density. A lot of the planet is moving towards fourth density because they're realizing a lot about their spiritual nature and who they are. So when you do that, you're actually evolving. So a lot of people are now moving towards that fourth density, that next stage in evolution, and all they have to do is be at least 51% service to others. Okay, so those are the two ways that one can go. Okay, peace.